Hey guys, welcome back to Dylan's Little Hobbies, and today I am going to be doing a video on Eri-chan. Now, Season 4 spoilers. Do not watch this video unless you are caught up with the manga on chapter 217. Do not watch this video if you have not seen Season 4. Season 4 hasn't even been out yet, so I know you anime-onlys have not seen Season 4. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. Do not watch because this video will contain spoilers for Season 4. You have been warned. You have been warned. Okay? Season 4 spoilers ahead. Do not watch if you have not caught up with the manga. Okay, so, Eri-chan. You know what? Thanks to this latest chapter, chapter 217 of My Hero Academia, we have some more information on Eri-chan's quirk, and I am today going to theorize. Why can I not say that word? I am going to theorize on how her quirk activates and what her quirk really is. Is it as OP as we think it is? Is it just flat out OP broken? Let's actually discuss this. Now, this 100% could be a theory, so take it with a big grain of salt. But let me know down in the comments below if you guys think I'm on the right track here, and what are your guys' thoughts? Do you have any other thoughts that could possibly partake in the abilities of Eri-chan? So let's go ahead and talk about what we know about Eri-chan's powers, okay? So Eri-chan, this cute, adorable little girl, has one of the scariest powers in My Hero Academia. Now, her powers have not been 100% confirmed, but it does one of either two things. One, it either turns back time for someone when she touches something organic, like someone or a plant or something like that. Her quirk, we know, only works on organic materials, which is kind of interesting because if that's the case, it should work on plants, so she should be able to at least use her powers on plants. And train with plants. Of course, doing it with people or animals would be highly super dangerous. But her powers work on organic materials, so it should work on plants, but that has not been 100% confirmed because we have not seen her work with plants before. But I think if she is able to use any of her powers and train in any way, it's going to be with plants, which is simply an organic material. Now, the question about her powers really is whether or not it turns back someone's time, or whether or not it turns back someone's evolution. Now, in my opinion, if she can just turn back someone's time, then that is terrible writing in Horikoshi's spot, because and I don't think Horikoshi is going to do that. The reason why it would be terrible for that to be the case, though, is because, and it would be good for our buddy Muriel, because our buddy Muriel doesn't have a quirk, but if she is able to turn back time, she can turn back Muriel to the time before he got shot, and basically he would have his quirk back. That could be the case, or it could be evolution, which, if it's evolution, this means that her powers would not work on Mirio, and this means that if she activates her powers on Mirio, who doesn't have a quirk, he would just get younger, not have his quirk again. I think it would. I think that's going to be what it really is, what it comes down to. And I'm saying that because, as much as I like Mirio, I just doubt that he's ever going to get his powers back. And I'm sorry about that, but I don't think it is. Because if he's able to get his powers back, that means our buddy All Might can get his powers back. I mean, think of that. Eerie can turn back All Might back into All Might? Come on. That would be awesome to see, but that would be just poor writing, because that would undo everything that we have built up for with Midoriya and build up with the story. No, I don't think that is the case. I think what Eerie-chan can do, personally to me, is just turn back someone's evolution. This means that when Midoriya was breaking his bones and stuff, and Eerie-chan was turning back his evolution in that big fight with Overhaul, it was the case that she was constantly making him younger, making his body younger to where those injuries never happened. And that's interesting, because that means if she wanted to, she could make even Gran Torino just somebody old and make him young again with her powers. Of course, she is so powerful that she can not only do that, but she can make them so young to the point where they don't even exist anymore, where they're just a single-celled organism. That's how crazy her powers really are. And if that's the case, that means that she can't turn someone back into a monkey, but she can turn someone back into a baby. That's crazy. And of course, that means when she did use her quirk on Midoriya, she was making his physical body younger before he got those injuries from using One for All constantly like that. And that was just really, really interesting. Obviously, it's a very painful process for both Eerie-chan and whatever she uses her quirk on, which at the time was Midoriya in that case. And of course, the only one who can actually help her would be, of course, Aizawa, because he can erase her quirk. Now, speaking about her quirk, what's really interesting, and again, what I just talked about has not been confirmed, and I really don't think it's turning back time. I think it's really just turning back someone's evolution, turning back someone's body younger, and not just randomly turning them back, because if that's the case, then it would just be nuts for All Might. Now, it is possible that this could be interesting. This could be an interesting way to possibly help All Might. We could get, if Eerie-chan can use her quirk, she can heal All Might's body, but because she doesn't turn back the clock on All Might, of course that means that All Might will never gain One for All again. That's something that I would like, but it would be interesting to have All Might's scars and wounds at least healed, to the point where he doesn't cough up blood every 5 minutes. As much as it is a fun little joke of the series, I think it would be really, really cool for All Might not to have to cough up blood every day of the week. You know what I mean? Now, with that said, let's go ahead and talk about how her quirk activates. Now, this is something that's kind of weird, and this is where I go into serious theory mode. So take this with a big grain of salt. Like I said, this is my theory. I have no idea if this could even possibly be true. But thanks to Chapter 217, we now have a quote on how Monoma's powers work. According to Monoma, apparently, and I'm paraphrasing here, but stay with me, apparently, when Monoma copies a quirk, he can copy just about any quirk, but he has some minor drawbacks. Not only does he have the drawbacks of the quirk itself, but the fact is, if the quirk is a stockpiling or power storing quirk, like One for All, then whatever power he has, he doesn't have that stock power. He copied the stock power, but he hasn't copied the power itself. Now, that's all interesting, and I want to talk about that in a different video when it comes to him and One for All, so look out for that video. But in terms of Eri-chan's quirk, you see, Aizawa, as well as us, was hoping that Eri could possibly get her powers copied by Monoma, and Monoma could possibly learn how to use that quirk and help Eri-chan to master that quirk. But turns out, because that quirk, Eri-chan's quirk, stores powers, Monoma can't help her. Now, this is interesting. How or why does she store powers? Now, obviously, she stores powers in that horn of hers, because that's obviously part of her quirk. I mean, even Monoma got that little cute little horn when he copied the quirk, so that was really fun to see Monoma with that horn. But the very fact of it is, what could she be storing in that horn? What powers could she be storing? And I think, now stay with me, I think it's emotional powers. Somehow, that horn she has, depending on her mood, depending on her emotions, it stores that emotions and turns it into this crazy power. Now, why do I say that? Well, let's look back at when her horn was humongous. Back then, before she got saved by Midoriya, she was just in an absolute life of despair. She was constantly in fear and pain because of her powers. And because of that, that's why her powers grew and grew to a point where it was uncontrollable, because she was just in a place of absolute despair. Now, eventually when that despair went away, her horn shrunk. She eventually became happy, and now her horn is growing big again, because the more happy she feels, the stronger her powers will be. That, to me, is possibly what's going on, and that could be interesting in terms of how the story could go in the future. But with that said, I really think this is the last we are going to see Eri-chan for a while. Not because I want that, but mostly because I think we have to really get into, starting next chapter, or at least the chapter after next chapter, we will probably get into the next big part of the arc, which I really hope has something to do with the League of Villains. I'm really interested in what Shigaraki's been up to. But back on Eri-chan, yes, I think the way her powers work is she stores feelings and somehow turns it into an interesting power, which then, of course, as soon as she touches someone and really thinks about it, her powers activate, stuff like that. With that said, this could mean something else entirely. She is now happy, right? So, what can her quirk do now? If I'm on the right track, and her emotions really is the reason why her power grows, then wouldn't that make sense that different emotion causes different powers? It used to be despair and sadness would turn someone's biological clock behind, right? But what could happy feelings be? I have no idea. It could possibly be the idea that she could increase biological stuff like that. It could be really interesting. I have no idea. Let me know down in the comments down below. What do you guys think about it? What do you guys think about what I talked about in this video, at least? It's interesting. I cannot wait to find out more about Eri-chan's quirk and how it actually works. But of course, it's still overpowered like crazy! Thank you guys for watching, and I am out. Bye!